Good evening and welcome to another McMuscles Midnight Massacre. And today, finally, found footage.
Yep, it was time.
The hallmark of the horror genre. So there's we need to watch another movie.
Yeah.
What should we watch? I don't know.
Found footage.
Do we know of any good ones? No.
Or that
Let's just try this random one.
just appeared.
Well, we know there's good ones, but we've seen them a million times.
So a lot of the movies in general that people are suggesting that we haven't done is because we've watched them at a time that's not recent enough that we can do a review, but like it's not far enough away that we don't remember. Like 2 months ago, we're like, do we have to watch it again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of found footage we have seen almost all of them that are on Netflix. And others.
I think almost all of them, and they're like 9 times out of 10 they're bad.
They're bad. There are some that are great.
Yeah, there's the Taken and Deborah Morgan.
Yeah, and some others.
The first Hell House, the second one was not good. Hell House LCC. Remember we watched that sequel a few months ago, and it was
that was one of those that we watched for the series. The second one, and we're like, oh wow, it's just not. No,
I do not want to talk.
I don't want to talk about it. So,
and there's some older movies that we saw maybe like 6 months ago, a year ago.
Yeah.
The Fly. And we unfortunately, we were just like, yeah, maybe next year.
Yeah, exactly. If we do this again next year, by then it'll be long enough that we can like watch them again. I'll be like, okay, enough time has passed. Like,
but I'm gonna cut the tension and say The Fly is great. All right.
Okay, Wes. Okay.
Okay, good.
We hear you, brother. Okay.
Today we're talking about
Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. So it's a Korean Gonjiam Haunted Asylum.
Nah,
Korean.
I said Gojira before, but it's Gonjiam.
Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. It popped up. It was there. It's a 2018 movie. It's a Korean found footage. And the premise was very reminiscent of the MTV Fear show. Y'all remember that?
Love it.
That was some of the best time of our lives. I think all of us as like...
It never got any better.
Yeah, nothing got better than Fear from MTV. Like with the double face cam, because they have that in this. They have like a chest harness thing. Camera in front,
and then they have GoPros and whatever. We're getting ahead of
ourselves, but all it was like, oh, this is like a Fear setup. There's a haunted asylum. There's a bunch of young kids doing a show.
They put out a casting call to say, hey, who wants to go investigate this scary place? Yeah. One of CNN's 7 most freakiest places
that's touted,
which is this asylum in South Korea, and you know they have like it's very like a little bit reminded me of the Blair Witch Project, where there was a little bit of a preamble where they're like
there was a lot of it
getting to know. Yeah, there was a lot. Actually.
And someone had written because they all meet up at like a cafe, and there's the guy who like hosts the show. What's it called? Horror Time. Shit, it's
Horror Time.
I think it was Horror Time. Horror web series.
Yeah, it's just what the name of his stream is called.
Yeah.
And this guy's all about the views. He wants you to ring the bell. He wants you to do all the shit. And so
actually, because what happened was these 2 random guys posted a video, I guess, on YouTube of themselves trying to get into this one super haunted room in the asylum.
Yeah.
In the asylum, like what is it, 240? No,
402.
402, because it's on the 4th floor.
It's 420.
Yeah. So that kind of went viral. So I think it planted the seed in this guy's mind, and he's like, well, I'll do a live stream of this. I'll get some people for Horror Time, put out a casting call. Yeah. 3 girls, 3 guys. They'll go in.
I'll make some fake scares just in case nothing really happens.
But like he wants to hit a certain number of people watching the stream for sponsors, for whatever.
Apparently once you hit 100,000 views, you can make this amount of money. Like it's just a known quantity. But if you reach 1 million, then everyone gets like this amount of money. Sure,
so these people meet up at like a cafe, and normally that could be it. For it's like they all meet each other. One guy is being an asshole to like the martyr girl, and there's the cool girl Charlotte who speaks English, who I'm kind of dressed like, who's like, I've been to like 3 out of these 7 freakiest places.
Been to Mexico.
She's rattles them off, and then there's the cool kind of like skater type girl. There's kind of like the mumsy girl. And then there's the one asshole to the mumsy girl, and like 2 other guys are kind of interchangeable for me. But there's like a montage.
In on it. They're in on it.
Yeah, they're like, one's a cameraman and one's whatever, but they're like drinking beers and they're yucking it up and they're having a great time.
They have a nice ride in the car.
Yeah.
Then they camp as well.
No, and then on the way there, you're like, okay, this is it. We're gonna get there. We're gonna start. They're like, no. They stop to go swimming, and that's what some people's like. comments on that was like, it's a really long preamble getting to know you, but apparently this is a thing. In certain Korean type horror movies or something like that, like to drag out the, it might be wrong, the beginning, because I noticed, I'm like, yeah, it was a little bit too much.
I didn't mind it.
But I didn't mind it either, but it was like, not just one segment, it was 2 segments. It was meeting each other, hanging out, drinks, yucking it up, then going in the car, and then stopping and more yucking it up. And then getting to camp and then yucking it up trying to set up camp.
When you're watching like a foreign film, it's hard to get across the personalities of people so much.
Yeah,
you don't hear their inflection, it doesn't make sense to you, so you just have to go by the subtitles.
If they're dressed the same or...
So with this though, they spent so much time in the preamble, I at least got like, oh, that guy doesn't really like this girl.
Yeah.
These 2 dudes joke around with each other quite a bit because they're in on the joke.
Yeah.
These 2 girls are kind of like, don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So that did help in a way because it was so drawn out.
It got you to know like their personalities a little more, and that's the point of it, right? When you do these things in these movies to establish like each individual character as individuals, right? So they get there, they set up a pretty fucking sweet setting. This really crazy tent,
giant tent
table. They have noodles, more yucking it up with the noodle. I gotta just take off these earrings because they're fucking killing me. And they're having a great time, and then they're like, time to strap in.
Yeah, like, with all their GoPros, all their harnesses.
Yeah, and like literally take like, not a wrench, but like a thing and like put the harness like really like...
they're set up.
Strap them in there and have the face cam and the outer cam, and then 2 of them are also holding handheld cams. And they snuck in to put stationary cameras on different areas of different floors. Because they're sneaking in. They do not have the right to be here.
They might have done it during the day, but it seemed like they're doing it at night. No, what I mean is that like, they got no whiffs of hauntings then.
No, yeah, like when the 2 guys went in to like set up the initial, because I think it was like
there's
night was falling.
4 floors to this place. It's huge.
There's 4 floors.
So they just got in there, were able to quickly set everything up, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, it's a movie.
And I think they set up the fake
scares too, probably.
Stuff in the beginning that like okay,
placing creepy dolls here and there and stuff. I did want to say off the bat, whenever you're watching any found footage movie, there's either 2 types, and one is like the newer one, where before they didn't give a shit. They just, I'm holding the camera. I am holding the camera.
No matter what happens,
the camera.
I will not let go of this camera.
But nowadays, they realize that people get really, really bothered. It's like the #1 complaint on found footage horror movies. So there's been a couple that we've seen that are like, I will go out of my way to justify why I need to do this. And this movie does it probably as well as you can, which is this shit is harnessed to our chests.
Yes, exactly. Like
we are running
you're
around.
Not gonna take them off. You're not gonna get like a vis or a screw and like unscrew it and take it off. You're like, it's strapped in there. We're seeing the perspective.
어떻게 된 거야?
And that's the first stage. The second stage is that they're on a show. They need to, and it's live.
Yeah.
This guy is the main host is watching from his the captain.
You call him the captain. He's an asshole.
He's watching this on like his stream setup in a tent, like back in the forest, and he's watching the views go up in a hilarious view counter that's so unrealistic. Whatever.
Okay. Comments.
And he's just telling them like, all right, say your line, go there, go to the third
floor.
So
it's like scripted to a point where 2 people are going to be in this area, then 2 people are going to be in that area, and then they're going to do a big seance thing, and then they're going to pour some holy water in a bowl in a weird thing, and
so as you could expect, it's all fun and games up to a certain point until I think they have the seance.
Well, the climax is going to be them attempting to get into room 402, which is so sealed and no one's ever been in there. No one can get in there, but that's like, we're going to finish up by getting in there, and they can do a little bit with like the headmistress of this asylum. She like ping pong. So they always hear these ping pong ball noises, and like that's her ping pong table, and people were tortured and they were murdered and everyone died and whatever. So there's ghosts everywhere.
Yeah. Doors closed, which are like set up scares.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it happens early on.
Yeah, and then like as it progresses, you're like, okay, when's it gonna be? When's shit gonna get real?
Yeah, and I think it's when they went to that room. They go into a room with a bunch of wires everywhere, and that seems to be where the point is, where things start to get real. They get a ritual there.
Strings
and all the strings, it was pretty creepy. All the strings start going nuts. No one's touching it. That was fake?
Yeah, he said it after.
Okay.
It was like that was staged, the doll was staged.
But there was a bit after that, or right near it, where I'm like, they were like, what the hell was that? And no one knew what was going on. Because the guy in the tent's watching all this unfold, and eventually the other people start going, no, what the fuck was that? That you didn't tell us about that. And because he wants the views real bad, he tells them to shut up and suck it up.
Just keep doing it. And then two of them at one point are like, we're in on the stuff that was staged. They're like, okay, how about we stay, but we ask for more money?
Yeah, which is...
And the guy obviously says, yes, he's going to say anything to get them to stay there because something happens that freaks them out that wasn't, like, part of the script with, like, I don't know, I'm not going to say it, but, like, the one thing that happens to one of the girls that wasn't, like, part of anything, and they're like, fuck, no, we didn't stage that, right?
Two of the girls just straight up leave.
Yeah, and they're like, bitch, we out. Like, Charlotte, because her scarf gets lifted, and the other one, and they're like, we got to go. And they had, like, a marker on a tree, which was an underwear, which was kind of gross. It was tied in, like, oh, we're almost back at the tent. And then it starts to play around with time and space and things like that. You go in somewhere and then you're really somewhere else and things like that start happening.
Very Blair Witch where they try to get out of the
exactly.
And then they see the underwear marker and they're like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
And then just bam, they're right back in the asylum all of a sudden.
Exactly.
So you can't really escape. And this is where the movie where I'm like, oh shit, where I legit got like some frightens. There were some scary bits here and there where I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, or oh, geez. And there's one, I won't say exactly what it is, but it's one of the girls is alone in a room and she sees something and she's trying to get to a door, but she's keeping her camera focused on it.
The light, yeah.
Because so she can see it, because their GoPros have little lights. And I'm just like, holy shit, this is pretty damn good, like in terms of tension. And a few more like kind of scares like that happen. There's a lot of little gimmicky rooms that have like a creepy well with water in it. And then there's one with like a doll involved. And there's one with this. And all of them have like a creepy room. One of the cameramen gets knocked out. And at first I thought he was dead. But they have a final sort of scene with him. And then of course the host director was like, fuck this.
He gets mad and he straps one on.
I'm gonna go finish the rest of this stream.
Figure it out. And as soon as he gets there, he's like, well, everything's fucked up. I'm not where I'm supposed to be and this and that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, full disclosure, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Watching it the first time when all the scary stuff started happening. So I had to rewatch it in the morning when it wasn't as scary by myself.
Yeah.
Because we had friends over. But when I did, they were still scary in the morning. Tell you that.
Sure.
You're like, it got real good. I was like, yeah, no, it did. And because there were still the two that didn't really know what was going on because they were at the top floor trying to get into room 402.
Yeah, it's the guy that didn't like the girl.
Yeah, the two with the tension, and then they're like, no, like it's all fake, and that's when one of the guys who was in there was like, this was all fake, everything up till this point is fake, but now we really gotta go because like this shit is real.
Gotta go.
And like then this is on stream, and the captain gets furious.
Yeah.
You know, and then he goes in there and he's like, oh shit's fucked. He's like, what the hell? But at that point, the stream at the end, you see people being like, oh, this was all fake, oh, garbage, and it goes out on like zero views. Because he got up to 1 million at one point.
It's a pretty like kind of a pretty ironic ending where of course like things got real, but everyone's like, oh, this was all fake bullshit because that guy.
I need the receipts.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, or it didn't happen, or it's fake fucking. So Photoshop screenshots.
Going into this, I wasn't expecting too much.
Yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised with this.
It's always hit or miss with something we've never heard of.
And then it's found footage, and then it's foreign as well.
It's foreign, and then I also read that these were all relatively unknown actors, and the fact that the face cam was on them, and it's literally up your nose Blair Witch style, and their acting was so good.
It was.
Like, to be so terrified in these moments where a lot of them are in, and they're just like freaking out, and that from them being kind of like annoying hams, you know, with their little selfies in the beginning, to like they were really able to like emote such things,
but
like
then
such
they
terror.
had to fake their fear early on when things are fake.
Yeah, one of them had to fake. It was like he was still pretty good at that, but then later when he's really being terrorized, and he's like literally shitting his pants, like he's so good. Like they're really good actors.
So you certainly got a sense that where they filmed it, which looked dark and
it looked pretty scary.
Maybe some of that fear was not really acted at all. They were just like a little nervous.
That takes away from them being good actors. We're like, they were real spooked. Like, I don't know.
But was really surprised by this. We it's not on Netflix as far as we know.
It might be there eventually.
But
we bought it from
because there is like a foreign horror like section on Netflix.
Oh, it'll get there. It'll get there for sure.
But yeah, I definitely recommend this one. Even if you see it like on a VOD, And if you want to pay for it,
Yeah, I'd pay for it. I mean, we did, but I would recommend.
Yeah, I'd recommend to do that, but it's definitely a strong Netflix recommendation as well. But yeah, if you see it for like, $2 or $3 for a rental on a VOD service, I'd say it's worth it then too.
Yeah, definitely. Really pleasantly surprised because it could have gone real bad.
It could have, because like we already outlined those 3 factors. Is like, we might not even record this for the Massacre, depending on how it is.
How bad it is.
Because we've seen like 2 or 3 movies now where we're like, we're not even going to bother to review this. And like, not even that it was that bad, it's just there's not much to say.
Again, it's not a 0 or a 10.
Yeah, it's
kind of a 5 or a 4, so.
So that's Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum. Not the best title, just because it sounds a little cheesy.
It's a little much, but...
But yeah, no, definitely recommend. So that is another McMuscles Midnight Massacre in the bag, and I hope you'll join us tomorrow night for another massacre.